Listen to me right now, because what I'm about to tell you will make your blood boil and then restore your faith that real justice still exists in this world. A 22-year-old frat boy drugged and assaulted a 15-year-old girl, filmed it, shared it online, and laughed about it, confident that his father's power would protect him from every consequence. His father was the governor. His family controlled judges, police chiefs, district attorneys. For 4 years, this kid had been destroying young women and walking away clean every single time. He had no idea he'd just targeted the niece of Marcus Viper Cain, president of the Iron Vipers Motorcycle Club. And what happened next? The justice these bikers delivered. It's going to stay with you long after this story ends. If you believe that predators should face consequences regardless of their daddy's money or power, if you think protecting children is worth everything, and if you're tired of seeing rich kids escape justice, don't go anywhere. Drop a comment right now telling me where you're listening from, because this story needs to reach every corner of the world. Hit subscribe so you never miss stories about real courage, real justice, and real people who refuse to let evil win just because it wears an expensive suit. Now let me paint you the picture of how this all started, because you need to understand exactly what kind of monster we're dealing with here. Marcus Cain was elbow deep in the engine of his vintage Indian Chief motorcycle when his phone buzzed. Grease covered his hands, the smell of oil and metal filled the garage, and he was in that zone where nothing else existed except the machine in front of him. These moments were his meditation, his escape from the weight of running a 40-man motorcycle club in a town where the law didn't always work the way it should. The phone kept buzzing. He ignored it once, twice. On the third time, something in his gut told him to answer. "What is it, Ray?" His nephew, 20 years old, tough kid, never called unless it mattered. "Uncle Marcus." Ray's voice cracked in a way Marcus had never heard before. "It's Sarah. She's in the ER at Riverside General. There's a video." "Uncle Marcus, there's a video, and it's everywhere. The whole school has seen it. She tried to hurt herself." The wrench slipped from Marcus's hands, clattering against concrete. Sarah, his baby niece, 15 years old, straight A student, wanted to be a veterinarian, smiled at everything, trusted everyone. What video? What happened? But even as he asked, Marcus already knew. That cold, sick knowing that settles in your stomach when your worst nightmare is coming true. Just get here, please. The whole club's already on the way. Marcus didn't remember the ride to the hospital. 1 minute he was in his garage. The next he was leading a convoy of 40 Iron Vipers, their engines roaring through the night like rolling thunder, headlights cutting through darkness like the eyes of hunting wolves. People on the street stopped and stared as the wall of chrome and leather thundered past. A few police cars saw them, started to follow, then thought better of it and pulled back. When the Iron Vipers rode in formation with purpose, even cops knew to stay out of the way. The hospital parking lot erupted with the sound of engines cutting off one by one. 40 men in leather vests emblazoned with a coiled serpent. The Iron Viper patch that meant family, loyalty, and a code that went deeper than any law written in books. Now here's where you need to pay close attention, because what Marcus found in that hospital room is going to make you understand why what came next was inevitable. Sarah lay in a hospital bed, for lines in her arms, her skin pale as paper. Her eyes were open but hollow, staring at nothing. Ray sat beside her, his face streaked with tears he didn't bother hiding. Around the room, nurses moved quietly, their expressions a mixture of pity and rage. Dr. Helen Reyes, a veteran ER doctor who'd patched up more than a few Vipers over the years and never asked questions, pulled Marcus into the hallway. Her voice was low, professional, but her hands shook with suppressed anger. Someone spiked her drink at a college party last night. Rohypnol from the talk screen. She was unconscious when it happened. Multiple assailants. They filmed everything. And Marcus, Dr. Reyes's voice broke. They uploaded it to social media, to pornography sites. It's viral. Thousands of views already. Her classmates are sending her the links. She woke up this morning to hundreds of messages. The school group chat was full of it. The hallways seemed to tilt. Marcus grabbed the wall to steady himself. 40 men, his brothers, filled the corridor behind him, and every single one of them had heard. The air thickened with rage, so pure you could taste it like copper on your tongue. Who did this? Marcus's voice was barely a whisper, but it carried like a blade. Dr. Reyes glanced at the open door where Sarah lay broken. Tyler Harland, 22 years old, star quarterback at State University. And Marcus, his father, is Governor James Harland. The name hung in the air like a death sentence. Everyone in the state knew Governor Harland. The man who'd been in office for 6 years, who controlled everything from zoning laws to police budgets, who had judges in his pocket and district attorneys on speed dial. His son Tyler was golden, featured in newspapers, destined for politics himself, untouchable as Teflon. But what nobody knew yet, what Marcus and his brothers were about to discover, was that Tyler Harland wasn't just a one-time offender. He was a serial predator who'd been operating with impunity for 4 years, and his father had been covering it up the entire time. Marcus walked into Sarah's room. She was awake now, curled into a ball, her phone clutched in her hand. As he approached, she looked up at him with eyes that had aged a decade overnight. "Uncle Marcus," she whispered. "Kids at school are texting me the links. Boys I've known since kindergarten are making jokes about it. They're calling me, they're saying I wanted it. I was asking for it. I can't. I can't go back to school. I can't face anyone ever again." She started sobbing, deep, broken sobs that shook her entire body. "I wanted to die. I took pills from Mom's medicine cabinet. Ray found me in time, but Uncle Marcus, I still want to. I still want to disappear." Marcus knelt beside the bed, this massive man with grease still under his fingernails and a serpent on his back, and he took his 15-year-old niece's hand as gently as if she were made of glass. "Sarah, baby girl, listen to me. What happened to you is not your fault. Not one single piece of it. And that boy who did this, he thinks he's protected. He thinks his daddy's power makes him untouchable. But he just made the biggest mistake of his life. Uncle Marcus, don't." Sarah grabbed his arm, panic in her eyes. "Don't do anything illegal. They'll lock you up forever. He's the governor's son. They own the police. They own the courts. You can't win against them." Marcus kissed her forehead. "Who said anything about illegal? We're just going to have a conversation. Make sure he understands the consequences of his actions. That's all." But here's what Sarah didn't know. Here's what Tyler Harland and his powerful father never saw coming. By midnight, the Iron Vipers clubhouse, a fortified warehouse on the edge of town, was packed. Every member from every chapter within 100 miles had shown up. The long oak table in the meeting room, scarred from decades of hard decisions, was surrounded by men who'd seen war, who'd done time, who'd lived by a code that said family was everything and predators got no mercy. Marcus stood at the head of the table. The law's in Harland's pocket. Judges, DAs, cops, all of them. We go at this our way. Smart. Precise. No traces. But first, we need intel. He nodded to the back of the room where a slight figure sat surrounded by computer monitors, cables snaking everywhere like electronic veins. Ghost. Real name Elena Vargas. Former cybercrime detective who'd gone rogue after seeing too many rich kids walk free from crimes that would have put poor kids away for decades. Now she used her skills for the Vipers, and she was a genius at finding things people thought they'd hidden. 3 hours later, Ghost emerged from her tech cave. Her face was ashen, her hands trembling as she carried a laptop to the table. "Marcus, it's worse than we thought. So much worse." She opened the laptop, turned it around. On the screen was a file directory. 52 video files. 52 different girls. Dates going back 4 years. "Tyler's been doing this since he was 18. Ghost said, her voice hollow. "He's got a whole server set up, hidden, encrypted. He drugs girls at parties, high school parties, college mixers, even picked up a few runaways, films the assaults, and trades the videos with his fraternity brothers like they're baseball cards. Some of these girls are as young as 14. The room erupted. Chairs scraped back. Fists slammed on tables. Voices rose in a crescendo of rage. Marcus held up his hand for silence. "Show me everything." What Ghost revealed over the next hour was a network of predators operating under the protection of political power. Tyler's fraternity brothers were involved, some filming, some participating, all complicit. But the real bombshell was in the email records Ghost had hacked. Messages from Governor Harland to his son, coaching him on alibis, wiring hush money to victims' families. In one email from just 6 months ago, the governor had written, "Keep it discreet, son. We own this town. Small payoffs. NDAs. They'll take the money and disappear. They always do." Marcus read that email 3 times. His jaw was clenched, so tight his teeth ached. "There's more," Ghost said quietly. She pulled up another file. "Tyler's planning another party. Tomorrow night. Off-campus location. Invitation only. According to his calendar, he's already picked his next target, a freshman who just turned 18 last week." The hook was set. They had less than 24 hours. Now listen close, because what the Iron Vipers did next was calculated, precise, and absolutely devastating. They didn't rush in. They didn't act on emotion. They planned like a military operation, because several of these men were veterans who knew how strategy worked. First, they copied everything. Every video, every email, every text message, multiple backups stored in multiple locations, because this evidence was going to bring down not just Tyler, but his entire protection network. Second, they tracked Tyler's movements. Where he went, when he was alone, when he was vulnerable. And third, this was the crucial part, they set up the trap. Friday night, 1 a.m., Tyler Harlan stumbled out of his fraternity house, buzzed from cheap beer and entitlement. His sleek Audi waited in the parking lot, a birthday present from Daddy that cost more than most people earned a year. He clicked the key fob. The car's lights flashed, but when he turned the ignition, the engine sputtered and died. "What the hell?" Tyler popped the hood, leaning over the engine. "Need some help." A gravelly voice came from the shadows. Tyler spun around, his heart suddenly pounding. Emerging from the darkness under the oak trees were 15 men on motorcycles, engines idling so low they sounded like predators growling. Leather vests, serpent patches, hard faces that had seen things Tyler's privileged life couldn't imagine. Marcus dismounted, his boots crunching on gravel. "Evening, Harland." Tyler's bravado cracked immediately. "Do I know you?" "My dad's the governor. You touch me, you're finished." He fumbled for his phone, but the screen showed no bars. No Wi-Fi. Ghost Jammer was working perfectly. "Call your cop buddies," Marcus said, his voice eerily calm. "Tell them you're cornered by the uncle of the girl you drugged and destroyed. The 15-year-old girl whose life you tried to end." Tyler's face went from red to white in seconds. I don't know what you're talking about." They moved like smoke. Zip ties secured his wrists before he could scream. The unmarked van, plates swapped hours ago, swallowed him whole. And they were gone before campus security even noticed the commotion. Destination: an abandoned mill by the river where the Iron Vipers handled unfinished business away from prying eyes. What happened in that mill over the next 6 hours would become legend. And here's the beautiful part. Every second of it was filmed. Tyler was secured to a metal beam in the cavernous space, floodlights illuminating his terror. He was babbling now, all that confidence gone. "Money. I'll pay whatever. Dad's loaded. Name your price." Marcus dragged a folding chair over, sat down eye level with Tyler. "You slipped something in my niece's drink. She's 15 years old. You took what wasn't yours, and you share it like a trophy, like she was nothing. Please, it was a mistake. One time. Just one time." Ghost stepped forward with her laptop, projecting the file directory onto the mill wall. 52 videos. 52 girls. Dates, times, names. Tyler wilted. Okay. I'll confess. Just don't hurt me." They hit record. And Tyler Harland, protected by his father's power his entire life, spilled everything. The drugs, where he got them, from a frat contact who had pharmaceutical connections. The hidden server, paid for with his trust fund. The victim payoffs, handled by his father's lawyer. The cover-ups, Detective Morrison who'd been bribed to lose evidence last year when victim number 23 tried to press charges. But the twist that changed everything came when Ghost pulled up one more file. Hidden deep in Tyler's server was footage from 5 years ago. A private retreat. And there in the video was Governor James Harlan himself with an underage escort. Tyler was crying now, mascara running down his face. "Wait, when did they put mascara on him?" "He taught me," Tyler whimpered. Dad taught me how to do it. How to pick girls who wouldn't be believed. Runaways. Scholarship students. Girls from poor families. He said power means taking what you want and making the consequences disappear. Marcus stood up. Around him, the vipers were silent, processing what they'd just heard. This wasn't just about one predator. It was a dynasty of abuse. Your father's a monster, Marcus said. But so are you. And monsters don't get to hide anymore. They brought in vats of cold asphalt sealant, the sticky black tar used for road repairs. Tyler's eyes went wide with terror. No, you can't. They stripped off his expensive clothes. Armani shirt, designer jeans, the Rolex his father gave him for graduation, left him exposed and shivering. You like filming people's degradation? Marcus asked. You like taking away their dignity? Let's see how you like it. The tar poured slowly, coating Tyler from feet to scalp. He howled, thrashing uselessly against the restraints. The black sludge clung to every inch of him, reeking of petroleum and shame. Then came the feathers, white down from shredded pillows, cascading over him like snow. They stuck to the tar, transforming him into something absurd and grotesque. Ghost filmed every second. Tyler the tar baby. Tyler the predator reduced to a sobbing, feathered mess. Did Sarah beg like this? Marcus asked quietly. Did any of them? Silence from the sticky mess. Next came the ink. Lena, the club's tattoo artist, fired up her gun. She tattooed half the vipers over the years, steady hands that never shook. Hold him, Marcus ordered. On Tyler's forehead, Hunter, bold Gothic letters. On his chest, 52 plus prey. The needle buzzed, drawing blood and screams. This is mutilation, Tyler shrieked. Call it branding, Marcus replied. We're marking your sins where everyone can see them. But dawn was coming, and they had one more crucial step. The genius of what the Iron Vipers did wasn't the physical punishment. It was what they did with the evidence. At sunrise, every major news outlet received an anonymous package. USB drives containing Tyler's entire archive. 52 videos. Every email from his father. Every text message. Every victim's name and story, compiled with their permission from those ghosts have been able to contact. By breakfast, #HarlanHunter was trending nationwide. The videos went viral. Not the assault footage, but Tyler's confession. His tears. His admission. His father's complicity. The feathered humiliation. Memes exploded across the internet. Tyler as the abominable snowman. Governor Harlan photoshopped with devil horns. The dynasty crumbling in real time. The governor scrambled. Called an emergency press conference. Fake news. Slander. My son is innocent. But the FBI had already received the same package. Raids began by noon. The fraternity house. Tyler's apartment. The governor's mansion. They found a server farm. Found the offshore accounts used for hush money. Found everything because Ghost had mapped it all. Tyler was arrested at his frat house, still picking tar and feathers from his skin, Hunter blazing on his forehead for every camera to see. The governor was cuffed on live television 2 days later. Court day arrived like judgment from heaven itself. Tyler shuffled into federal court, hat pulled low. Remove headgear, the judge barked. Gasps rippled through the courtroom as Hunter was revealed. His attorney sputtered. Your Honor, my client was assaulted. This tattoo is evidence of... Evidence of what? The judge interrupted. That someone held him accountable before the law did? Bail denied. Mr. Harland is a flight risk and a public menace. Prison was hell for Tyler. Child predators get no love behind bars. The tattoo made him a target. Beatings. Isolation requests denied. He carved tally marks on his bunk, counting days to freedom. None came. Life without parole. The governor got 50 years in federal prison. Every victim testified. 52 stories woven into a tapestry of corruption and evil that finally saw the light. Marcus visited Tyler once, post-sentencing. The ink had been lasered off, leaving keloid scars that still spelled Hunter. You ruined my niece's world, Marcus said flatly. Tyler, hollow-eyed, whispered, Is Sarah okay? She's healing. Not your concern anymore. Marcus turned to leave, then paused. You built this cage yourself, son. Every choice, every girl, Every time your father helped you escape consequences.